Hello, my friends, and welcome to a brand new episode of Discourse in Magic. My name is Jonah Babbins, and this is a case study episode. It's a different episode than anything I've ever done before, and I think that you might find it interesting. Let me give you a little bit of behind the scenes first. So in the last 12 months, I have really helped magicians enter the world of virtual with a coaching program called Upgrade Academy. And the sole purpose of the program is to get you to $3,000 to $5,000 a month in virtual magic income. It's been so much fun, so epic. The results have been wild over the past 12 months. And what I've done is I basically gathered 3 people and hosted 3 different conversations all about what worked, right? These are 3 people inside of Upgrade Academy who had epic results. And I basically just asked them kind of what worked and to share with you some of the big highlights for them. So if you've wanted to grow your virtual magic business, or, and here's a big secret, if you are looking to grow your in-person business, like if it's back, if you've done your first few shows, if you are on the way back, this is something that you should kind of open your ears to because the tools are the same. A few tiny differences between booking online and booking in person, but more or less the skills are pretty similar. So I would recommend listening in to this. Before we get started, I want to tell you 2 different things. The first thing is if you're listening to this, I want to remind you this weekend is Return to Magicland. That is our 2-day virtual video game magic convention. It's going to be awesome. It's happening Saturday and Sunday. There's Jay Sankey, Mario the Maker, Michael Amar, a ton of amazing people, and I recommend you be there. So the link is in the description, but the website is unconventional.fun. That's number 1. Number 2 is we're about to talk to 3 different people about the program Upgrade Academy. If you think it's for you, in June, I'm going to be starting a new Upgrade Academy group, and the way to find out more about it and chat with me, so you can find me on Facebook Messenger, but if you just go to discourseofmagic.com/Upgrade Academy, you can chat with me there, and I'd love to learn if it's for you. So let's get into the conversation, and let's start with the first person, which is Doc Dixon. I'm sure you've heard of Doc. Maybe you know who he is. I've loved his magic. I've seen him on Fool Us. He's absolutely incredible. And he originally approached me about potentially working together, but he was very nervous, and I understand. Whenever you invest in a big project, whenever you work on something, there's no way to know, right? So I told him about the guarantee that I have, and it's a 2-week love it or leave it guarantee, which means you can try everything for the program, and then if it doesn't work for you, I refund all your money, and I give you some tacos so that, even though you didn't get anything from the program, you did at least get some tacos. So I told him, try the guarantee, and he got some amazing results. So here's a short conversation with Doc to see some of the things that he did that worked and how you can steal them.
Here's my take on Upgrade Academy. It just works. Beforehand, I was like, okay, he's pitching me hard, politely pitching me hard, but he's a marketing guy. And sometimes on the other side of a pitch, you get there and you've put out your money and, the numbers don't work. This isn't producing. Your stuff is produced. Bottom line, it has produced at the bottom line, what matters. So, I can't give it more of an endorsement that it's made me money.
What's one thing that made a big difference?
One of the bigger things that Upgrade, particularly in the changing in-person to virtual, now to in-person market, was some really powerful lead generation stuff. Because if you don't have leads, you don't have sales, you don't have money. And so that was very helpful. So during that window of the guarantee, dive in deep. It's all laid out for you. Dive in deep, put it to test. Boom. I hope that was helpful. The next case study that I want to share with you is really exciting. This is somebody named Durgy Spade. And pre-pandemic, he had a full-time job and a part-time job doing wedding emceeing, doing magic at weddings and emceeing weddings. And he was the best in the biz, really the best in the biz. And then poof, all this infrastructure completely and entirely disappeared. There were not big giant weddings happening that even needed MCs. So he had to figure out a way to get the magic part going, and he waited. And waited. And then finally he said, I think it might be too late, but we decided to go for it, and he just got absolutely incredible results. So I want to share with you here some behind the scenes with Durgy Spade and how he pivoted into the world of virtual magic.
The truth is, when I first messaged you, I needed help. I felt like I was a little bit behind with the whole virtual show thing, right? I messaged you months and months and months into the pandemic. It was fall, and I needed to get up and running real quick and real fast, and I didn't have time to waste because there were past clients of mine that were messaging me and asking me to get ready for if I could do a holiday show for them. So I didn't want to let them down, and I needed to be up and running quickly. And I also knew that there would be a bit of a boom during the holidays as well. So I didn't want to let down past clients. I wanted to be there, for other people that needed some, virtual entertainment. And you helped me all the way. When I first reached out to you, I had done literally 0 virtual shows. I didn't know how to price anything. I didn't know how to market virtual shows. I didn't know anything. I literally felt like this baby being born into this strange new world. Here we are at the end of the course, 10 weeks in. It's interesting because when we first started, the first thing you asked me was, what did I want out of this course? And I remember saying, if I can book 5 shows, 5 virtual shows, because of the things that I learned here, I'll be happy. I'll feel like my work is done and I'm satisfied, and it was well worth the time and the effort to go through this. Here we are 10 weeks later, and I'm so thankful that all the things came together the way they did. I ended up doing 31 shows in the last 10 weeks or so, which is insane to me. So way better than I wanted to and I expected to. A lot of it is because of the tips that you gave. It's crazy because there were times I was doing shows at 9 a.m. because the shows were in London, England. This is something I hadn't even thought about. And sometimes I was doing shows, late into the night because they were on the West Coast. So I was trying to serve my clients over there. So long story short, you made this super easy to follow. One crazy thing to think about, another crazy thing to think about, I guess, is if I tried to go through all of your material and everything you taught, and if I tried to implement that, honestly, there's so much information there, it would probably take me years. It would honestly take me years. So I've taken bits and portions where I felt like, I could, all the low-hanging fruit, and, I took action, and those are the results. I hope over the next little bit, I'll continue to add more little bits that you taught, regarding automation or getting extra help, that type of thing, to just grow the business even more. So listen, long story short, again, thank you for putting this course together. The truth is, this course allowed me to just accelerate, right? Just pour gasoline all over the fire and be up and running real quick and get booked real quick, which is exactly what I was looking for. So thank you, and can't wait to work with you again real soon.
Boom. Well, the next person that I want to share with you is someone that I'm kind of the most proud of. Maybe not the most proud of, but I'm wickedly, wickedly proud of. And the reason being is over the course of the past 12 months, he went through a phenomenal transition. When the pandemic began, the situation was he had a website, he had a handful of photos, and no one was really booking him. And I assume that you can relate to this. Many magicians have been in this position. I have a website, I have photos, I have testimonials, maybe I have a video. Nobody is hiring me. And over the last 12 months, he's been a part of many of the different programs I ran. And he basically went from growing his business to now being a part of the mastermind program, trying to scale his business past making $3,000 to $5,000 a month. So he is absolutely crushing it. And in this one, this is actually a longer conversation. I pushed and prodded a little bit more to ask what were some of the big difference makers that you can steal. So again, if you're thinking about joining us, or if you want to potentially work together starting in June, then discourseandmagic.com/upgrade. But if you just want to steal the things that worked for other people, then listen to what Chris Wall has to say. Here it is.
Yeah, so where I was somebody who, like a lot of magicians, I felt like I was pretty good. I'd done a lot of events, for friends, family, and, the occasional private thing where I'd been booked and hired. But I wasn't really considering myself having a business. I wasn't really considering that, this was something that I did for a living. I was doing other things and other jobs. And where I was when we first started working together, I'd taken the risk about 3 months earlier, left my job. And then this little thing, I don't know if you've heard about it, it's called COVID-19 happened. And 3 months into having started a business that relies on events, I, like a lot of performers, I'm sure, lost everything. Even though I just started and I didn't have much to lose, I lost everything. Then I was like, okay, what am I going to do? Like, I've just left my job. I'm just starting to try and make this happen. And I had a website and I wasn't really doing anything with it. And I was just kind of like waiting for people to kind of come and find me. And then when I got speaking to Jonah, Jonah sort of instantly within 15 minutes, we had a 15-minute call to sort of feel out like, where I was and see if we were compatible. And Jonah gave me 4 or 5 things that I went away and started doing that then helped me bring gigs in immediately, like actively going out and doing the work to get gigs rather than just trying to, cross my fingers and hope that things would appear. Since then, I think that we started working together on accountability. We went into the mastermind group. We've done all sorts of things. And I can think of like 4 or 5 different times when Jonah has said to me something along the lines of, no, don't do this, or here's what you should do on top of this to make that better. And it's resulted in me, now I did a gig for NBC Universal. I've done a gig for Netflix. I've done a gig for Hewlett Packard Enterprise. Like really, ridiculous things that I didn't think that could happen.
So let me try to probe a bit. What would you say is maybe, let's say 3 things that change? What 3 things do you do differently now, or did you start doing differently? What were the big steps for you?
So the big step for me, I think one of the things was talking about my unfair advantage, and sort of the things that I knew that other people didn't. So one of the things that I knew quite well is I had quite a big network of personal friends in fundraising, charities, and also universities in the UK. And that was something that a world I knew really, really well. And one of the things that I did was try and tap into that and think about, okay, what do they need that I can provide a solution for right now? And so, for example, one of the things was it was coming up to Freshers Week, we call it in the UK, which is like Welcome Week, or when, university term starts. Everything was virtual in the UK at the time, and, the traditional Freshers events weren't going to be happening. So I was able to go, actually, you know what, I can fulfill that need. I can offer something a little bit different. So worked on a sort of campaign to reach out directly to them and go, okay, here's what I'm offering, here's what I can do. And that landed into, lots of gigs, which have now turned into repeat clients. I've worked 4 or 5 times for the same universities a couple of times.
What else changed? What did you start doing differently?
I think one of the other things, I started taking myself a bit more seriously as a business person. And I think that one of the big things there, and I think a lot of magicians struggle with, especially now with the pandemic and things changing, is not knowing your true worth. And that's something that I think a lot of us still struggle with, and I think we'll always struggle with, at least I will, as there's a bit of an imposter syndrome as you see people who are going like, I've got this gig or whatever, and you think, oh, I could never do that, I could never get that gig, or I could never charge those fees or whatever. But actually looking at your act, if and knowing it's good and knowing it's worth, and being able to comfortably say, this is my act, this is what it's worth, and being able to feel comfortable and confident in charging that. And I think that being able to do that in a way that was, honest and structured and helped me grow has been really good. And, being able to do that in a way that didn't just sort of go from, not charging £10 or whatever, which was one thing. I was like, when the pandemic first happened, I was like, I'm going to charge £10 and I'm going to give 50% of it to charity.
I remember that. I remember that.
Yeah, because I was just like, I don't know what it's worth. But then, working out actually, I have something to offer. I'm offering something that's good. And feeling comfortable doing that. And now I'm, really comfortable turning gigs away. And if they can't afford me, I know that there'll be money coming in, and I'll be able to go, do you know what, you can't afford my rates. I really wish you the best of the event. I hope you find somebody, who might be on the up and coming or an alternative type of entertainment. But I know I'm confident enough that I can say no to that, and there'll be something else that'll come around the corner.
And the third thing, what do you think was the biggest change for you to really open the floodgates, turn it from a closed faucet to a flowing faucet of gigs? What was the big change?
I'd say the biggest thing for me is starting to learn and understand online marketing, and online advertising, sorry, not online marketing, that's a different thing, online advertising. And the systems around Google ads, Facebook ads, and how they can complement each other, how they can work together, and the sort of systems behind how they work has really meant that I've been able to, again, it's that thing of taking business a bit seriously. You've got to spend money to make money sometimes. And I think that, at the moment, people are looking for Zoom entertainment. People are looking for unique things to do on Zoom. Like, people are searching for this all the time. And if you can capitalize on that and be it the, Google ads, they do work. They will bring people in. They will bring traffic to your site. And if you've got a good site, people want to book you. And that's it. Like, you've just got to be able to demonstrate your credibility, demonstrate your value, and then once you get in front of people's faces, they can't say no. That's the sort of approach that I'm trying to get to, is the point where it's like, if I'm in front of their face and they've spoken to me, they can't say no. And that's sort of, it's always growing, it's always building on myself, but yeah, you've got to try and get to that point.
What has been your highlight of the virtual magic world?
I think the highlight of the virtual for me was getting the first time that I had a proper gig come in and clear my bank account, and I got to see a little check that said from NBC Universal that come into my bank account. I think that was the coolest moment, like performing for a company that's that big, was epic. So yeah,
it also feels like I've been watching your NBC commercials my whole life, and you've been getting my money now for me to get it all back, all in one go. That's what I think every time I do a show for like a credit card company or a bank or a university. I'm like, time to get it all back. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, I did a show for NatWest, which is a bank over here in the UK, and they actually I won a grant through them, which you helped me on as well. I won a grant through them for some equipment, and I was like, here's this grant that this is what you got for the grant, this show.
So there you have it. 3 different people and 3 different strategies that you can start putting into work. So if all you want to do is steal the strategies, then boom, they're yours to steal. But if you want to work together and see how we can help you add $3,000 to $5,000 a month in virtual magic income or in-person magic income, the systems are exactly the same, then go to discourseinmagic.com/upgrade. And this month specifically, I'm doing some live sessions all about the transition back to in-person. So I'd love to see you there. And last but not least, one more reminder, unconventional.fun, the 2-day 8-bit video game virtual magic convention is happening this weekend, and I'd love to see you there. So go to unconventional.fun, grab your tickets to return to Magic Land. Other than that, thanks for being here, my friends, and I will see you next Thursday. Peace!